Where did steel pan came from? Steel pan was invented in a tiny little island called Trinidad, which is also twin to another small baby island called Tobago. If you go back to the 18th century, when the French brought Carnival to Trinidad, they also brought the aspect of their music and the festive side of it. But with that, the Trinidadians had an option within that period to celebrate. The first instrument that they were using were drums, African drums, playing those things to keep the rhythm, again, incorporated with the Calypso music. And through that, I believe the government at the time wasn't happy. Well, that's what factual said. They were not happy with it, so they banned the African drums through the procession. But again, knowing how vibrant Trinidadians are, we decided, okay, let's find a next way to express ourselves. So through time again, they decided to say, let's use some bamboo. So they actually went into the bamboo fields, cut some bamboos out, and create a percussive instrument through bamboo, which we call tambu bamboo. And by playing that, getting back into the spirit of Carnival, came back to the same problem again. The government stopped them. Obviously, people were saying, okay, what we going to do again? So they decided to create a percussive band. This percussive band is picking up any type of metal or anything they have, they could get their hands on, but mainly metal, and creating rhythms for that, for the same procession of the Carnival, or in those times you could say the Cambole. And through that period, they came to the same problem again. So it's a real canny feel if you think about it. A society of people, every time they try to express themselves, they get stopped by the government. It continued proceeding that people say, well, here what? I don't care no more. So after the last stop, they said that was coming up to around, I will say, middle 30s. Yeah, middle 30s, late 30s. They say it have two sides of the story. One side of the story is somebody's walking on the beach, see one set of oil drums on the beach. They decide to take up one of the oil drums, hit it, hear it have a tone, yeah, and they start creating a song from that. The second side of the story for me is more kind of plausible, because if you understand, like we here in England, we have something called the post-Cold Wars. In Trinidad, even back in those times, it was very similar. So with that, within that time, when they actually stopped the percussive bands, somebody probably through the percussion list, playing on the percussive band, played a drum. And by playing it, realized, oh, I'm getting a tone from it. And then decided, oh, I could make two notes. That's how the first pan actually probably was made. Because the first pan is actually a two-note pan. Two-note pan, literally called a doo-doo. It goes boom, 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 boom. That's it. By the time coming into the early 40s now, that is where we start deciding, okay, let's add some more notes. So we probably end up with 5 notes. Yeah, so start creating your first little scale and feel of a melody. And by the time we start going later, and I would say by the time 44, coming to 45, coming around to that time, steel pans now start to actually add in more notes to the instrument. So it started actually getting much more innovative with the instrument. And from just being a 2 or 5 note instrument, it actually becomes a 12-note instrument. They will say that was the first time steel bands on the whole actually came out from the areas, and where people could actually see a steel band. And from there on to present day, it just started to evolve. The innovation get more and more and more and more tighter, much more, I will say, much more into the aspect of the conventional instruments we use now. So that creates that whole feel, yeah, of the orchestra, that we can play exactly what the orchestra playing conventionally, we can do the exact same thing on a steel pans. That's how the structure and the transition from all these stops and starts to where we are to have a conventional instrument, which is the youngest acoustic instrument in the world, yeah, to this day, yeah, is the steel pan.